about a year and a half of eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio, we're finally moving on to a new year and a half cycle where the North Node is in Aries and the South Node is in Libra. This is going to focus on caring less about what other people think and more about doing whatever the fuck we actually want to do. If you're excited to dive into what exactly we can expect collectively from the North Node moving into Aries and the South Node moving into Libra, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Maren. I am a Western tropical astrologer. I make astrology videos. Also, I have music out if you do want to check that out as well. And if you want private one-on-one readings with me or to ask me questions where I can answer in video form, check out my links below for my courses, readings, and everything else I offer. If you have not already seen your 2023 forecasts that do explain where this is happening in your chart, I know that they came out almost a year ago now, which is insane, but those videos I will link down below because they will explain how exactly this is coming up into your rising sign. But in this video, I'm going to run through first what this means energetically, secondly, what has happened previously in history and therefore what I think will happen during this transit in the world, and thirdly, what it means for you based on your rising sign. So this started a couple days ago, July 17th, 2023. The North Node moved into Aries and the South Node moved into Libra. This will be there until January 12th, 2025 because the North and the South Node spend a year and a half in each sign. What they literally are is the North Node is the northernmost point of the ecliptic or the sun's orbit. The South Node is the southernmost point. If you want a full video on what the nodes mean energetically in detail, I have a video series from like 3 years ago, I think, that goes into detail about the North and the South Node. But long story short, for the purposes of this video, the North Node, also known as Rahu, represents acceleration, growth, and obsession. It is the head of the dragon, or the force behind going after things. This is not a good or a bad energy, although when it runs rampant, it is negative. Rahu is obsessive, it is really insatiable. It can never be stopped or fulfilled. Therefore, Rahu, or the North Node, is great for getting things done, for being masculine and assertive and achieving things. It can be limitless, ruthless, and quite destructive on its own. The South Node, on the other hand, also known as Ketu, is associated with purification, letting go, releasing, or departing. It is an apathetic or usually willing to submit energy, so it is much more feminine or much more passive and in the energy of letting go. It is also destructive or negative when it is unhinged and on its own because it does not put effort and it simply destroys things through not caring and letting things run rampant all over it and letting go. It's overly generous. Versus the Rahu, the North Node, can also be, destructive in its obsessive, forceful way. So neither are positive or negative in general, although on its own, in their purest form, they're going to be a lot. I say this as someone with my sun exactly conjunct the North Node. It's a lot. So with the past year and a half of the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, I have a video on that from like a year and a half ago. Before that, the nodes were in Gemini and Sagittarius. I have a full video on that with the Leo King if you want even more context on these cycles and what's happened previously. But we're now going to run through what this represents with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So North Node represents volume up, increase, and growth. Aries is a cardinal fire sign representing individualism, the courage to go after things, being our own person, not giving two shits, and like really not giving a fuck about what anyone else is doing, and being very driven towards our immediate impulsive desires. It is like carnal, it is like feral in a way, it is very simple. Aries is the simplest, most linear sign. It's the first sign, and I would argue it's the most direct in its positive and its negatives. So the North Node in Aries is going to bring themes of independence, of being single even, or being your own person rather than depending on anyone else. And on the flip side, violence or fighting in general being accelerated between parties who disagree. Now, the South Node showing letting go or purifying will be in Libra. Libra is a cardinal air sign. Therefore, instead of being focused on the self, it is focused on the other party or the union or the social dynamic. There's likely going to be a letting go of caring about what other people think, of depending on relationships, of being caught up in the social conventional trends. Libra is great at being a trendsetter or becoming aware of what's popular. This shows letting go of that and not really giving as much of a fuck as like what's in style or in trend or what the current mob of people are doing. So I see world themes coming up of letting go of relationship talk or dependence on others in a way of like idealizing that, letting go of people pleasing or having to be the person that is always, doing what other people want or caring, and also less desire for fake, highly curated content. That makes me kind of sad because I love really fake, highly curated content, but to each their own. This does not mean that we need to become more Aries and less Libra. In fact, it's two sides of the same coin kind of thing. The more we focus on our own independence and the way that that's growing and current in our life, the less that we're going to need to keep around people or people please in general in ways that are not serving our true authenticity and our inner self. And as we let go of the dependence on other people's priority of us, the more we can find out what our true independence really would manifest as in our life. So they're always interconnected and they don't mean good or bad one way or the other for either sign. If you already have some feelings, some thoughts, some predictions around what this means for you or in the world, do let me know in a comment down below how you feel about this transit and what you're expecting. So in history, we're now going to run through briefly some historical background of the previous 2 times this happened. I found 3 major themes. The first is the growth of individual innovations that provide user-centric control. The second is violence in the Middle East. I've talked about this with every major Aries transit, Uranus in Aries, Jupiter in Aries. Whenever Aries is activated, I do find that violence in the Middle East specifically is really represented there. And 3, new representation in leadership in terms of different ethnicities or women really rising to notoriety in leadership, which is very Aries, my identity being shown during this transit. So the last time this happened with the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, January 2005 to July 2006. So February 2005, North Korea announced that it possessed nuclear weapons, so that was definitely a hallmark of the very beginning of this transit. February 14th, 2005, a former Lebanese prime minister was assassinated by a bomb in Beirut, which I'm just going to give a few examples of the violence in the Middle East that was really rampant during both of these times. And 2, YouTube was launched February 2005. So that is an incredible North Node in Aries thing. YouTube was launched. April 23rd, the first YouTube video ever was uploaded entitled Me at the Zoo. I find that incredibly North Node in Aries. May 21st, the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster in recent history opened at Six Flags called King de Ka. July 7th, 4 coordinated suicide bombings hit central London, which was, these things obviously happen every year, but they were really marked during the last North Node in Aries transit. I didn't find this super related, but it was interesting that on August 29th, Hurricane Katrina came, which I remember being in kindergarten then, and that was, interesting to remember. October 19th, the trial of Saddam Hussein begins. November 9th, at least 60 people were killed and hundreds more wounded in a series of coordinated suicide bombings in Jordan. November 11th, in Kazakhstan, the former government minister and mayor was killed and found dead with a family compound involved. On November 13th, Andrew Simpson, a 25-year-old Scottish man, is reported as the first person to have been cured of HIV. I find that very North Node in Aries, very South Node in Libra. That's incredible. The first person cured of HIV. November 22nd, Angela Merkel assumed office as the first female chancellor of Germany. November 23rd, Ellen Johnson wins the Liberian general election, making her the first elected Democratic head of state for that country, or in Africa, actually, and totally in Africa. November 30th, surgeons in France carried out the first face transplant. And then in 2006, I found this interesting. January had Russia temporarily halting natural gas to Ukraine, which is very reminiscent of this, everything happening right now. February, there was a mosque bombing occurring in Iraq, and this caused what led to the full-scale war of the Iraqi Civil War 2006-2008. March 2006, the first female president of Chile was elected, and in July, a series of 7 bomb blasts hits Mumbai, killing over 200 people. So that was the first kind of instances of many things that I find representative of that. Last other time this happened was April 86 to October 87. So April 1986, there was a Berlin discotheque bombing where hundreds of people were injured and Libya was held responsible. April 13th, the first child born to a non-related surrogate mother was born. April 15th, there was an operation in El Dorado Canyon where the United States bombed targets in the Libyan capital, which just was really representative of what was happening during this time there. February 26th, the Iran-Contra affair began, where the Tower Commission rebuked U.S. President Ronald Reagan for not controlling his National Security Office staff. So those are all kind of examples of this. I do think that we're going to see this repeated, but I'm excited to see what the, positives are, especially with user-centered technology. I think it could be AI, that kind of focus. So now running through what this means for each of the rising signs, based on your rising sign, not sun sign or anything else. So for Aries rising, North Node in your first house will have a ton of focus on you doing your own thing and prioritizing your own wants and needs. South Node in the 7th house shows letting go of outdated or no longer supportive relationships and relationship habits. For Taurus risings, the North Node will be in your 12th house, showing a lot more mental health focus and alone time. South Node will be in your 6th house, showing letting go of things that you might have been doing to help your physical health, letting go of like treatments or things that you don't really need to do anymore. Also letting go of the working around people. You might be firing people or just working from home now. If you're a Gemini rising, North Node will be in your 11th house of networking and friends. Gonna be a really social networking, career growth, kind of like connecting with people for a year and a half. And the South Node will be in your 5th house of dating, creativity. So you're probably going to be letting go of some dating situations and letting go of creative projects that might not be authentic. If you're a Cancer rising, the North Node will be in your 10th house of career, showing a lot of going after your career. And the South Node will be in your 4th house of family or property, showing you might be selling a home, moving away from your family, or spending less time at home. If you're a Leo rising, the North Node will be in your 9th house of foreign travel or higher education, showing more travel, more studying, or more philosophical inquiry. And the South Node will be in your 3rd house of day-to-day routine, travel, and communication, showing letting go of a basic daily routine, having less stability around a daily monotonous thing that you're doing, and possibly letting go of friendships or people you see often and not having as much contact with those people. If you are a Virgo rising, the North Node will be in your 8th house of finance, investing in the occult, showing more focus on saving and investing for the future or a magical practice. And the South Node will be in your 2nd house of income or making money, showing that you may be spending more or making more money. There's more in and more out, but also more savings. If you are a Libra rising, the North Node will be in your 7th house of committed relationships, showing a lot more focus towards a partnership or attracting in a partner. And the South Node will be in your 1st house of self, showing that you might be losing weight, you might be letting go of an image or a persona, or feeling like you're letting go of an identity that no longer serves you, appearance-based as well. If you are a Scorpio rising, the North Node will be in your 6th house of physical health or coworkers, showing a lot more focus on physical exercise or physical health treatments, and also maybe hiring people or spending more time at work around employees. The South Node will be in your 12th house of mental health or addictions and isolation, showing that you're letting go of coping mechanisms or things that you might have done spiritually. You're letting go of basically like alone things that you would have done, either addictions, or this could also be spiritual practices or religious-based things as well. If you are a Sagittarius rising, the North Node will be in your 5th house of dating, creativity, and kids, showing for some of you, maybe kids. For most of you, it's going to be more dating and more creative prospects. And the South Node will be in your 11th house of networking and talking to large groups of people, showing a more social, more secluded, less outwardly focused time. If you are a Capricorn rising, the North Node will be in your 4th house of home or family, showing more focus on home, on family, on settling down. And the South Node will be moving through your 10th house of career, showing letting go of or shedding skin from an outdated career chapter. If you are an Aquarius rising, this will be in your 3rd house of day-to-day routine, creativity, content, or being busy, showing that you're going to be like really doing a lot day-to-day with your routine. You're writing content, busy, busy, busy. The South Node will be in your 9th house of traveling or higher education, showing that you might be letting go of like ties to an international country or travels. You might be letting go of what you were studying, or you could be letting go of a religion or philosophy as well. If you are finally a Pisces rising, the North Node will be in your 2nd house of income, showing you're making more money and you're really, really like grinding. The South Node will be in your 8th house of finance, investing, or the occult, showing that you might be paying off some loans or paying off something you owe, like debt. You could also be selling assets, selling things that you own, or you could be releasing like energetic ties to other people through occult practices. So if you have any thoughts around how this is showing up in your life, do let me know down below. I do want to give a fit check because I love this outfit and like I'm really proud of it, and I'm heading out to a concert, so I like actually do want to show this. So this dress is from Almighty. These boots are from La Moda, I believe. And these boots have a little heart on them. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this far away. I'll just show it like close up when I'm closer. Basically, these boots have a little heart on the bottom. I hope I'm not flashing everyone. And then this necklace is from Dolls Kill like years ago. It is a razor. And then my hair is like just my waves. And then I did like red wing and stuff because I felt like it went with this. So yeah, let me know how you're feeling about this transit. And I'll see you like in a year and a half with the next one.
Oh, there is one